Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this week's ski in practice. And for props for today, a couple of hard blocks, a soft block, and a bolster might all come in handy. And I'll invite you to get started in a seated butterfly shape. So if you want to sit up off of the edge of your soft block, you can bring the soles of the feet together and then see what distance between feet and pelvis feels best here. So closer or further away. If you like to support the knees in this shape, then you can bring a block under each thigh. And then option for the bolster to stay mostly upright, but to gently release the spine. So you might bring one end to the feet and one hand to the forehead, and just let the head be really heavy here. Let the arms just kind of flop wherever they want to be. If this shape feels good, then great. You could also take the bolster to the chest, depending on where your feet are relative to the pelvis. This one might feel more comfortable for you. Then let the head get really heavy into its support. Let whatever's touching the floor get heavy as well. Notice your shoulders, your face. If anything feels like it's holding here, that doesn't have to be. See if you can soften that now. Notice if the mind has started to drift and see if you can bring your attention back to your body, back to your experience here. And see if perhaps you'd benefit from a little more time here and you're welcome to stay. Otherwise, as you feel ready, gently lifting your head up off your bolster. You can move the bolster to the side for now. If you're using props underneath the knees, you can release them, help the knees together, and then maybe lean back and give yourself a windshield wiper of the knees side to side. Awesome. And then from here, you can swing the legs around, come and find a tabletop position. We'll just take a few rounds of cat-cow here to release anything from that opening shape. Moving with your breath, letting the belly be heavy, and then gently pressing the hands to dome the upper back. A couple of times with your breath between these shapes. Awesome. Coming back to your tabletop, and from here we'll step the left foot forward just outside the left hand. So setting up a lizard pose in yin known as dragon pose, and you can stay with the hands underneath the shoulders. It might feel nice to shift that right knee a little further back in space if you have space to do so. And then from here, check in to see if the back knee needs a little padding, then you might bring that in. You could also be up on the hands here, so if the floor feels a little bit far away, feel free to just take a more upright spine, maybe with your hands on your blocks. I'm going to talk through a fold as well, so if you like to have your bolster for this, you can bring it across the mat, maybe lowering the elbows down onto your bolster or onto your blocks if the floor is a little far away. Now, notice what's happening with the left knee, ankle, foot. Sometimes pointing the toe out or in a little bit can make a big difference further up the hip. So take a moment to adjust anything that you need. And then once you find the shape that works, see if you can find your stillness here. You can let the head go, let it be heavy if you like. Be in your shape. If you're down on the elbows, you can slowly walk yourself back up. Now from here, we're going to play with extending that left leg towards straight, and then we'll fold here. So see what props you like to have around for this. The hard blocks might be handy, or you can continue to use your bolster. And again, check in here as you extend that left leg, it might be necessary to shift that right foot a little further back. There isn't there isn't a specific alignment you need to go for, but see what feels the most comfortable in your body. And the option is there as well to stay more upright in this shape. You'll still get some of the benefits of that stretch through the back of the left leg by being upright or most of the way upright. If you do like to fold kind of inside of that leg, then go for it as well. So if you're using props, you can start to walk them out in front of you, maybe dipping the chest a little bit closer to the floor. Make sure it's a pain-free expression. If you're feeling any negative sensation, maybe in the back of the knee, hip, or anywhere else, then feel free to back out or soften the shape any way you like. right, if you're folded, you can slowly walk the hands in, lift yourself up, and then once again, we'll bend into that front knee. If you need to give your back leg a little bit of a break here, if you want to tuck or untuck the foot or add some padding, then go for it. And we'll find one last stretch here. And that's to take the right hand down towards the right to set yourself up for a twist. So you can take that left hand to the left thigh and gently start to turn your chest open towards the left hand side. Now, left hand can stay on the knee. If you like to reach it up towards the ceiling, then go for it. If you want to be down on the left elbow, whether it's on the floor or on a prop, then go for that. An option as well for a half bind, maybe taking the left hand towards that right hip. Find what feels comfortable for the neck here. Maybe close down the eyes. If the left hand is somewhere other than the floor, you can bring it back down and bring yourself up. And then maybe hop that back knee a little bit closer, send the left leg to join the right, and then see if there's any movement that feels good here, maybe a rock of the hips or a few rounds of cat-cow. And when you're ready, we'll come and find child's pose. I'm going to use the bolster between the knees and to support the spine. So perhaps taking the knees nice and wide apart. I'm going to have a hard block nearby for the forehead and gently settle into your child's pose. And find an arm expression that feels good here. And soften anything you don't need. When you feel ready to move on, you can slowly pull yourself up to a tabletop position and then check in as you do. Maybe take a few breaths. You can cat-cow or move the body in any other way you like. And with your props near the top of the mat as you feel ready, we'll send the left foot just outside the left hand, setting your lizard, your dragon up on the second side. So maybe left knee shifts a little further back. You can widen your base. You can point the toes, however feel the most comfortable for you. And then any of your props that you have nearby, think about lowering the elbows down for a fold. If any part of the body needs a little more support here, then take some time to add that in. And come and find your stillness when you're ready. If you're down on the elbows, then slowly come up onto the hands. And then we'll set up to extend that right leg. So using whichever props you need on any height setting, and feel free to adjust the rest of the body. And slowly start to extend that right leg towards straight and see what happens. And straight away, you might need to lengthen or shorten your base. Perhaps patting the back knee if it feels sensitive. And then see where you need to be. You can stay more upright, or as you're ready, you can start to walk the hands forward, maybe start to dip the chest in towards the floor. And finding your pain-free expression and then breathing here. Slowly start to lift the torso back up and slowly start to rebend the right knee, adjusting the proportions of your lunge however you need. And setting up for that final variation for that twist. So left hand can start to lower towards the left, maybe coming onto the elbow straight away or see how the side goes. Right hand presses towards the right knee as your chest opens towards the right and perhaps the gaze follows. So mirroring whatever expression you did on the first side, and always if the elbow to the floor is a little far away, maybe elbow to a prop. If you took the right arm towards the ceiling or towards the hip, then do the same here. And close down the eyes, find your breath. If the right hand is lifted, then bring it back down to the floor. Slowly come up onto the hands. And then sending that right leg back in space, finding your tabletop. If you need a little movement to release, then go for it. Otherwise, you might slide the bolster back in and we'll come and find that supported child's pose. So maybe knees nice and wide apart, hips towards the heels, and chest down towards the bolster. Maybe a prop for the head. Finding your stillness, any arm expression you like here. Give the head a gentle rock side to side. Massage the space between the eyebrows. Awesome. And then when you're ready, come up. Come and find a kneeling shape. Now we're going to set up saddle pose. So for saddle pose, kind of this kind of shape, so knees nice and wide apart, hips towards the heels. And this might feel like plenty, so you can stay, or you can take it more into a back bend. So maybe coming onto hands or elbows. And I'm going to show you the prop setup that I like to do, and you're welcome to mirror, or you can adjust that for what you'd like to do here. So if for starters you know that you're staying upright, then you can skip all of this. I'm going to take the soft block, and then I'm going to take the bolster. I'm going to have one hard block at the far end just to tilt it up a little bit so as not to come quite as far as the floor. And then I'm going to have a hard block nearby to support the head. So any variation of this, and you're welcome to, mix and match as well. So coming in, you might have to play around a little bit with where you have, especially the soft block. So maybe take it out for now, and then bring the feet together, and then the knees nice and wide apart. So straight away, just check in and make sure that this shape feels okay, and then see if you need that soft block. You can bring it in just in between, just in between your ankles and underneath the pelvis. And then see what this feels like. You can think about coming down, maybe walking the hands behind you a little bit. And then the option to lower to the elbows, maybe to lower the spine down onto your support. And make sure everything's in the place where you need it the most. So if you need to move things around a little bit, then go for it. For today, I'm going to skip the block for under the head since the bolster seems to be supporting me well enough. And if there's anything else that you need to adjust, if you need to take the knees a little bit wider or closer together, then go for it. Find a comfortable spot for the arms and settle in here. Listen to your body, and if the shape has started to feel too uncomfortable or you're starting to feel pinching in the knees or the ankles or anywhere else, then you're welcome to come out whenever you need to. Otherwise, you might stay here for about 8 or 10 breaths longer. When the time does come to come out, then you can either come out exactly the way you came in, or if you have space to do so, you might be able to exit staying on your back. So maybe one leg releases and then the other. And again, you can still be in the shape, and that's fine. If you are choosing to come out, then you can roll off to one side just so that you can push all of your props out of the way. And once you do come out, we'll come on to the back. It might feel nice to give the knees a windshield wiper side to side, so maybe feet nice and wide and gently rock a few times. And then check in here, see if the body's asking for any last stretch or movement, and you can set that up. When you're ready, we'll find a Shavasana. I'm going to take the bolster underneath the knees. I find, especially after that last shape, it might feel better for the low back to feel nice and flat. So a little height for the knees might feel good for that. If there's any other adjustment you like to make, then go for it. Find the most comfortable expression for the arms. So maybe they're down by the sides or up overhead or somewhere else. And take a moment to settle the body in here. And when you're ready, you can find your stillness. Gently bring your attention back to the space and invite some movement, wiggling fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Maybe taking the arms up overhead and giving yourself a full body stretch. And from here, collect the knees into the chest and then reach between the knees. You can catch hold of the shins, the ankles, or the feet, and we'll find happy baby. So any expression of the shape, and that can be in stillness or with a rock side to side or bending and extending the legs, anything you need here. Awesome. And then reconnect the knees in front. And maybe roll down to one side, pausing for a few breaths. As you're ready, coming up to find any comfortable seated position using any of the props that you have around for support. Just settling the body in here, and just take a moment to scan through. Notice everything from the toes all the way up to the crown of the head. The hands can stay where they've landed or connect in front of the heart. Maybe bow the chin in toward the chest. And thank you for sharing your practice today. Namaste. And thank you for joining me for your yin practice. My name is Nicholas. If you have any questions, please reach out and enjoy the rest of your day.